you for joining the virtual information meeting for the Washtenaw County Road Commission's project about the resurfacing project that is planned on Carpenter Road. My name is Emma Sharp, and I am Washtenaw County Road Commission's Communications Associate. I'll be the meeting host today, along with our project managers. This morning, I'm going to go over some housekeeping items before turning it over to the staff for the presentation about the projects, and then we will open up the meeting for your questions, okay? Joining me today is Project Manager James Hui and Senior Project Manager Aaron Burkholz. The meeting audio and video is being recorded and will be posted to the project page on wcroads.org in the next day or two. After the presentation, you will be asked to virtually raise your hand during the Q&A. I will provide instructions at that time on how to do this from either your computer, the Zoom app, or from your touch-tone phone. The chat feature for this meeting is turned on, so if you have a question during the presentation, feel free to ask it in the chat and we will address it during the Q&A. You can find the chat window at the bottom of your screen. And the floor is yours, James.
All right, thank you, Emma. My name is James. I will be the project engineer on this job. So thank you everybody for coming. This is a presentation about the Carpenter Road resurfacing job, and we'll just dive into a little bit more information for you here. So the project limits, it's not a single straight stretch of project. It's two different segments along Carpenter. It's only the asphalt pavements. The concrete portion of this stretch of Carpenter is not going to be touched. So the limits is roughly from Textile Road to Arbor Lea Drive. And then it continues up here at Clover Lane, just north of Clover Lane Drive to south of Ellsworth. Next page, please. And just to talk about this spot, we know and we understand there are a lot of projects out here. Between MDOT, between the township's work, between utility work, there's a lot of work, and we understand that. So I want to make you aware that this stretch of Carpenter could be a little busy, just because of the detours that are going to be running through here as well. But we are intending to make sure that this will be as least congested as possible. We are trying to maintain both directions on that stretch of road for the entirety of the project. So here's a picture of the current road on Carpenter. So you can see here, there's a lot of cracks, areas here and there that are spalling, potholes here and there. So we thought, resurfacing job would be, a very good candidate for this type of road. Next page, please. So our plan is to mill and resurface the asphalt road. We're taking roughly 4 inches off and putting 4 inches back. We are replacing the guardrail to meet standards on the bridge over I-94. And then we're doing a couple ramp improvements towards the southern limits of the project, towards Textile Road. Next page, please. So again, we'll talk about, why are we doing this for this stretch of Carpenter? Just based off of the picture we showed before and just of our review of the roads in Washtenaw County, we figured that this road is a very good candidate for a mill and resurface. So what happens is that we do have a mill machine that will be out there removing the top course, in this case, about 4 inches of asphalt off the road. And we go in and seal any joints that could, or any issues that could be there, and then we pave it back over. This way, we can preserve what's good there without completely closing the road, without completely ripping everything out. So this type of mill and resurface does prolong the life of this road. We can go back to that next page. So to be transparent, we are spending about 1.5 million contracted costs. This is a combination of federal funding and local match. Next page. And for the schedule for this job, we kept it to the late summer for a contractor. And this is just to work around a lot of the other projects that we're expecting to finish prior to this. So it'll be somewhere between, late July to October. We are giving our contractor an 8-week time frame to do this work. So we left it up to the schedule and the other projects in the area to determine, when we want to start this 8-week process. And of course, everything is weather dependent here in Michigan. So the impact of traffic, like I mentioned before, this type of mill and resurface work, we don't need to shut down the road, but we will be closing 2 to 3 lanes depending on the work that day or that week. So we will have people out with signs, slow and stop paddles to make sure that you are, getting into the right lanes, and we will be maintaining at least one direction in each, or one lane for each direction, and we'll be monitoring, left turn and right turn pockets as well. Next page. So again, I was quick and short. This project is, I think, relatively straightforward. Here's all my contact information. Please sign up for our emails. We do send out project updates, and we just would love to make sure you are updated on what's happening on Carpenter Road. I think that should be it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, James. A really good overview of this upcoming investment to improve Carpenter Road. And just a few additional thoughts that I'll offer. James had mentioned that, there are a number of nearby projects, some of which the Road Commission is overseeing that we're directly involved with, some of which we're working with partners on. So, here this map shows that MDOT has the large project that's currently going on along US 23 that's impacting the traffic patterns at US 23 and US 12. We've got work that's been permitted in the county road right-of-way that's going on Textile Road and going on Crane Road right now. And we have an additional project that's not shown here that the Road Commission is overseeing on Michigan Avenue, just to the east of I-94. So we're well aware of the fact that with this number of projects in a relatively small area of the county, it could be confusing for motorists. It could be challenging for motorists. So there's been a lot of close coordination by the Road Commission, by MDOT, by the permitted agencies that are doing work in the county road right-of-way, and we're doing our best to keep that line of communication open. So we're hoping that reduces some of the confusion that could be felt by motorists that are driving in this area. But the bottom line is we very much need to perform these improvements, and the federal aid funding that's being used for Carpenter Road is programmed for this MDOT fiscal year. So we're in the fiscal year for which the funding was identified. So we need to do the project this year. The project can't be delayed. And again, we really want to improve Carpenter Road. So there will be a short-term inconvenience here. There may be some frustration felt by motorists, and reasonably so. But for the long term, we're improving the road, and that's the end goal that hopefully everyone can keep in mind. I'll also mention that, and certainly everyone realizes with the snowflakes that we saw just overnight last night, that we have a limited construction window here in Michigan. So realistically, for asphalt paving projects like the one we're about to undertake later this year on Carpenter Road, we really only have the window from May through like the end of October to get paving done, asphalt paving. So again, we have a number of constraints involved in trying to perform this work. We're certainly thoughtful about not wanting to create confusion and frustration for motorists, but ultimately this is going to be a great improvement for this very busy road. So in advance, I want to thank everyone for your patience. And certainly, James and I are both available to anyone that might have questions about the project as we undertake the work. Thank you.
Thanks, Burke. Okay, now I'm going to take a second and show you all how to find the project page on our website. Oh. Okay, so you're going to go to Google and you're going to type in wcroads.org. This is going to be the page that loads. You are going to hover your mouse over the roadwork and construction. Click on current projects.
Hey, Emma, your screen is not showing on the presentation.
Give me 1 second then. There, you guys seeing it now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so you're going to go to Google, you're going to type in wcroads.org, and this is going to be the homepage that pops up. You're going to hover your mouse over the roadwork and construction tab, and a drop-down menu is going to pop up. You're going to click on current projects, and then it's going to show you a map of all the projects that we have within Washtenaw County. You can scroll down and you can find each tile is a project that we're having on primary roads. So you just want to scroll down, find Carpenter Road. It should be organized alphabetically. Here you'll see where the project limits are for this specific project, what township you're going to be in, what kind of work is being done, the type of traffic impacts, as well as advisories that are going to be posted related to this project on here, as well as project updates. And then we also have James's contact information up, so that way if you need to call or email him, you can. And then the most important part is the subscribe to project updates button. Here you can subscribe yourself to email updates and get notifications to your email about what's happening with this project specifically, or in townships or certain advisories, whatever you may choose. Okay. Give me 1 second here and then we'll open it up to Q&A. All right. So now we're going to go into the question and answering period of this presentation. If you are viewing the meeting on your computer, just first make sure to click the join audio button. You can then raise your hand by clicking the participations or reactions button at the bottom of your screen, and then the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. If you dialed into the meeting from your touch tone phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. As the meeting host, I will unmute participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number when it's your turn to speak. We are happy to answer as many questions as possible, but just please be respectful of each other's time. And if your question is answered before you're called on, you can hit the lower hand button that's at the bottom of your screen, or by dialing *9. And before we go into this Q&A period, just know that if any of your questions are left unanswered or you still have more questions after the meeting, just be sure to drop all your contact information into the chat, so that way our project managers can reach out to you at a later time. Okay. All right, I'm going to go in the chat first. James, Willow Pond Subdivision asked, what about the Michigan Avenue project? I'm assuming they're wondering if this project will intersect with the Michigan Ave project.
Yeah, so I will be the manager for the Michigan Avenue project as well. This is the Michigan Avenue from I-94 off-ramp. You can see in the very right edge of this map, all the way down to Hewitt Road. That will be a closure. So our plan when we planned these 2 projects was to have one finish before the other one starts. And so Michigan Avenue will be coming earlier this summer. And then our plan is to start Carpenter Road if all things work out after Michigan Ave is opened back up.
Awesome. Okay, and then Willow Pond Sub, I see you also have your hand raised, so I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself so you can ask your question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant the Michigan Ave project that's going over Carpenter Road currently, right there at Sam's Club, and the I-90. I'm sorry, the US 23 overpass. How's that time frame working in conjunction with this resurfacing project?
So based off of the MDOT website, and I can provide a link for you if you ever are curious on what MDOT's doing. Just based off of their website, they should be completed by July 15th is their end date, and our project is still expected to start late July, so it should be after the 15th.
Yeah, and James, just for clarification, when you mentioned the MDOT link that provides updates on that US 23, US 12 corridor project, and you mentioned their completion date, you're speaking just to the work that's going on at Carpenter and US 12. Is that correct, James?
Yes, and then over the US 23 bridge as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll link that into the, I don't know if you'll see the chat. I can send that to you directly if you want, all the MDOT related project updates as well.
Okay, the next question that we have in the chat is, will the two sections be done at the same time, one after another on Carpenter Road?
So that question is something I can answer a little bit later. We do have a meeting with our contractor coming up here in the next couple of weeks. If you want to write your email down or send me an email directly, I can answer that once we do talk to our contractor. In my intentions, I would expect us to do one segment and then the next segment, but again, I want to make sure I talk to the contractor before we give you a proper answer on that one.
Okay, are there any more questions that anybody needs to ask? Willow Pond Sub, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. I see you have your hand raised again.
Yes, I'm sorry. One final question, because I mean, our subdivision is right here in the nexus of all of this. So the textile, I see the detour from Textile Road to, Crane Road. When is that section supposed to be done, if you happen to know?
So that project has a lot of different components to it. I don't have an exact information for you, just because it is managed by multiple different entities. But I can definitely look into it and give you more specific detail on that as well. If you can you send me an email and I can follow up with you directly after this?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. And you are Willow Pond Sub, you're at the northeast corner of Carpenter and Textile, right?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and just for clarification, as we record this meeting and others may view it later, the work that's going on Textile Road and on Crane Road right now is a Pittsfield Township utility upgrade project. They're working on a large sanitary sewer project there in Pittsfield Township. The work is performed in the county road right-of-way on Textile and on Crane Road under a permit from the Road Commission, but Pittsfield Township is actually managing that project. So certainly James can follow up and get more up-to-date and accurate information on their intentions, and we'd be happy to pass that along. We can find out, for instance, right now, Textile Road is closed. We can find out how they're doing schedule-wise and when they intend to have Textile Road reopen. Certainly, it would be our preference that that occur prior to us starting Carpenter Road. But again, there are a lot of components involved in that large sanitary sewer improvement. So we can certainly provide more information in that regard as it's available.
Awesome. Okay, are there any more questions? Okay. It doesn't seem like we have any more questions. So just as a reminder, here is all of James's contact information. So if any of your questions were not answered, or if you come up with questions later, be sure to reach out to him so that he can help you guys get information. If you dialed into the meeting from your touch-tone phone, please press *9 to raise your hand so I can take down your information as well. Thank you for joining us today, and be sure to remember to sign up for project updates on our webpage. So that way, whatever advisories that are being posted, whatever project updates, and whatever important information that's being posted about this project will go straight to your email and you'll know immediately. Otherwise, thank you for attending our virtual construction meeting about the Carpenter Road Resurfacing project, and everyone have a great rest of your day.